Hey, this is CUSD, Math 7, Unit 5, Lesson 13, Expressions with Rational Numbers. Alright, and the first 5 questions are part of your cool down, just to kind of wrap up today's lesson today. It says in each equation, select an operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, to make each equation true. So essentially what you want to do is take one of these 4 operation signs, and you're going to drop it in the space right there to make the whole equation true. So just give it some thought and think through what would make each of these true, and that's all you're going to do there. Again, I'll let you do the first one on your own because that's up to you. Okay, looking down at number 6. Find the expression, the value of each expression here. And we can see essentially with the same numbers all the way throughout. We're going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. We have negative numbers sometimes, we have positive numbers sometimes. So that's what's changing there as we go through this. So using the same numbers but doing different operations with both positive and negative numbers is going to result in different answers. So let's see what we have here. First we have a negative 32 plus 8. Alright, so in this case here our signs are different. Okay, so we're going to find the difference, which would be 32. In our case 32 minus 8. And 32 minus 8 is going to be, in our case here, I put a borrow there, 12 minus 8 is 4, and we have 2, so 24. But I have more negatives than positives, so it'll be a negative 24 as a solution there. In this one, I have negative 32 minus 8. So in this case, the signs are the same. So we're going to find the sum and keep the sign the same. So we'd say a negative 40 right there. In this case here, subtracting a negative is the same as adding, right? So I have negative 32 plus 8. Well, that matches A, doesn't it? So that's going to be the same thing as what we did in part A. Here we have negative 32 times 8. Okay, so we multiply it by 8. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And a negative times a positive is a negative solution there. Negative 32 divided by 8. Alright, well 32 divided by 8 just normally is going to be 4 because 8 times 4 is 32, but a negative divided by a positive becomes a negative solution. And this one we have negative 32 divided by negative 8. Again, we have 4 here as a solution, and negative divided by negative gives us a positive 4 as our answer right there. Alright, and that's it for that part right there. Number 7. It says the value of x is negative 2/3. Alright, that's what x is in each of these. So you want to put the value of x into each one of these and then work out a solution for what that's going to be and then put them in order from least to greatest. So we're going from small to big. Alright, so that's what you're going to do there. I'll tell you, when you work this out, okay, you're going to end up with, when I worked it out, I ended up with 2 negative numbers and I had 2 positive numbers. Okay, so that's what I had when I worked these things out here. So you're going to have 2 negative and 2 positive once you solve this up. So let's see how it goes. You do it and then put them in order from least to greatest. Alright, number 8. It says Diego buys wooden board that is 7.5 feet long. So that's a board 7.5 feet long. The cost of the board is 50 cents per foot, which includes tax. What's the total cost in dollars? Total cost in dollars of the board. Okay, so what we do to find the total cost is we're going to take the cost of the board and multiply it by the length of the board, because the cost is per foot times the length, and that's going to give us our total cost. Did they provide us with this information? Sure. We have our cost, which is right here. So we have 0.50, 50 cents a foot, times the length, which in our case is 7.5 feet. So you want to solve that, and that's going to give you a solution right here for what the cost would actually be. Looking down at number 9. Alright, find the value here. We have 3 different problems. We want to find the value. For this one here, we have stuff inside of parentheses first, right? So we have to do what's inside of here first of all. This part becomes addition. So I have a 22 and an 8. I can group those together to make that a 30. And I'm going to put that with the negative 12. So a negative 12 and 30, those signs are different, so I find the difference, 30 minus 12, which is going to be 18. And which one is the larger value, the negative 12 or 30? The 30 is, so it's going to be a positive 18. Positive 18. Okay. And then we have a negative 5 outside of here. Alright. Now what I'm not sure about with the way this is written, it's written a little strangely here. Is this supposed to be do all this and then are we distributing there, or are we supposed to add that? I really can't tell from the setup, quite honestly. I'm not sure what it wants me to do there. So it could be that it wants me to multiply, which would make sense. You know, so you would do an 18 times 5 type of thing over here. And that's 40, carry the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're at 90, and a negative times a positive is a negative. So if it's to distribute with multiplication, that's what you would have. If they thought it should be something like negative 5 plus 18, which seems really odd to me, then you would find the difference of the two. 18 minus 5 is 13, and it's positive there. So depends on what's supposed to happen here. Just a little different, okay, in the way this is organized. You're supposed to do the parentheses first, and we did that, but then what's in the parentheses it ends up being 18 without a sign, or what we say, there's no operation in front of it. So it's hard to say what to do. Anyways, we'll leave it there. Part B, we need to find a common denominator first of all, and then we go through the motions of doing 1 minus, which becomes plus 3, plus 1 more. So our common denominator is going to be a 10. Let's do that first of all. And since they're all going to have a 10, I'm going to put it all over 1. So to go from 5 to 10 is times 2. So let's do 1 times 2 is 2. And then subtracting a negative means we're going to add. And in this case, we already have a common denominator of 10, so I just keep the 3 a 3. To go from 2 to 10 is times 5, so I'll multiply 1 times 5. We have a 5 up top, and they're adding that there. So we have 2 plus 3 plus 5 all over 10. Okay, and in this case here, we would say 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 is 10. We have 10 over 10, which simply equals 1. All right, and that's what we got there. Looking at the next one here. 0.35 divided by 7/10. Again, I know a lot of you guys like decimals more than fractions. I like fractions more. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 35 hundredths as 35 over 100. And then because divided by 7/10, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 10 sevenths. And you can hopefully see already how this is a better way of doing it than using a decimal number or turning that into a decimal, because I can reduce in the diagonals. I have 1 7 here, and I have 5 7s here. I have 1 10 here, and I have 10 10s here. All right? So now what I'm left with so far is I'm left with 5 times 1 is 5, and 10 times 1 is 10. And 5 out of 10 is reduced down to simply 1/2. Not too bad. Let's look at number 10. 10's a great little question here. It says Kira mixes 3/4 of cups of almonds and 1 2/8 cups of peanuts to make a nut mix. Okay, so we have almonds, we have peanuts, and we have the total amount here. Okay, let's draw this out. We have 3/4 of a cup and 1 2/8 of a cup, and some total amount there. And the question says we want to make how much of each ingredient we need to make 15 cups of trail mix. Okay, so with the recipe we have 3/4 plus 1 2/8. I want to go ahead and change 3/4 into with a common denominator, make it have a common denominator of 8 here. So to make it an 8, if I multiply it by 2 over 2, 2 times 2 is 8, and 2 times 3 is 6. So now if I think about 1 2/8 plus 6/8, 6 plus 2 is 8, right? So I end up with 1 and 8 over 8. Well, 8 over 8 is also 1, so it really becomes simply 2. So the original recipe of 3/4 of a cup and 1 2/8 of a cup give me 2 cups of the nut mix. That's what we have in our in our basic information. So to get to 15, there's not a number I really know that goes from 2 to 15. So let's make 2 into 1 cup. If I wanted to make 1 cup, I would need half of what I started with. I would need half of 3/4, right? So 3/4 times half of 3/4 becomes 3/8. And then this one here, I can make this into an an improper fraction. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So I have 10/8. And I multiply it by a half, which becomes 10 over 16. Or really I could say that is 5/8. So for 1 cup, I need 3/8 almonds and 5/8 of a cup of peanuts. So now from that, I can take the 1 and I can multiply it by 15 to make 15 cups of the mix. So for these numbers, the same thing. We're going to multiply by 15 and then multiply this by 15, and that's going to give you how many cups of almonds and how many cups of peanuts you would need to make 15 cups of trail mix. Now I'm going to let you do that part there. We have it all set up. We're showing what to multiply, 3/8 times 15 and 5/8 times 15, to put your numbers there in the chart. Okay, number 11, last one for the day. It says Len's phone keeps track of the number of steps she takes and the distance she travels. Based on the information table, is there a proportional relationship? So proportional, remember that's going to be that y divided by x, and it should be the same for each one of these. So for example, if this is x and this is y, then our y divided by x, the first one, is 1 over 850. So now when we take a look at the second one, is 3 over 2450, the same as 1 over 850. Well, I'm not really sure. I don't want to actually divide all that. But let's think of it this way then. 1 times 3 gets you to 3, right? So I should be able to do the same thing here. 850 times 3 should get me 2450. So let's try it real quick and see if it actually does that. So I take the 2450, and if I take the 850, 850, and if I multiply it by 3 like I did the 1, I should get that number if this is proportional. So 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 5 is 15, and then 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 more is 25. That number is not that number, so because that's a different number, it's a different k value right here, so it is not proportional, and that's what we would say. This one could be proportional to that one, not really sure, but there's no need to even try it. We already know that that relationship here is not the same as that one, so it's not going to work. Alright, that's it for today. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.